Welcome to Limitless You. This is the podcast that empowers you to tap into your extraordinary potential and achieve your wildest dreams. We're all about self-discovery, growth, and embracing your uniqueness. I'm your host, Taryn Dube, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey called You. Hi, welcome to the Limitless You podcast. I am so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, every single week, I just want to say thank you to those that have listened, those that have commented and sent me messages. I really appreciate it. And I'm just so grateful that this is making an impact in your life. Today's topic is one of my favorite topics. As you all know, I am a John Maxwell certified coach, speaker, and trainer. And I really want to jump into his latest book, which is called High Road Leadership. And we're going to be talking about what it means to have audacious confidence in your leadership style. So audacious confidence in your leadership style is more than just the way you lead people, but it's got a lot to do with your characteristics and your values, how you approach leadership. I want to tell you a quick story. I have had two clients recently in the past year, and both of them have had a very different experience with leadership. The first client, he is a manager. He is growing his team. He received his highest bonus in the past quarter because of his leadership style with his team. And his heart and his desire, as we went through our coaching, he wanted to be intentional about the way he coached and led his team. He wanted to make sure that the message he was giving to his team was that it wasn't just about his agenda, but that he could see the potential within his teammates, within his team players, and see where they could get to, even if it meant them leaving his team because of their growth and development. The second example is of another manager who I wasn't coaching them, but I was coaching one of their team members who was incredibly nitpicky, so micromanaging, someone who presented themselves as a leader by position only. So this was my title, and this is what you're going to do because I say you have to do it. This manager was suffocating. They didn't see the potential that was in the teammate. Instead, they only realized their own strengths and their own style of leadership and didn't give any room or growth for the team members. And it ended up in the team member being burnt out and exhausted. Two very different styles of leadership. One that promotes growth and excitement and potential and high performance for their team, and the other that suffocates and stifles and squashes growth because now the team player doesn't actually want to do any work for this manager because it's never going to be good enough anyway. So why should we bother? Have you ever encountered managers like that? So I know that this is an interesting topic. It's a bit of an iffy topic, but I work with team players and team managers and leaders in organizations all the time. And this is not an uncommon story. This is such a common story. John Maxwell calls this level 1 leadership. He has 5 levels of leadership, and we're not going to get into those in this topic, in this conversation. But the level 1 leadership is just, I'm a leader by title only. I'm a leader, or the person is a leader by title only. They expect their team to listen to them and to do what they want, but they have no relationship. They have no social authority over this person, no credibility, and they appear to not care about the needs of their team players. We see this a lot in politics today. We see this a lot in leadership around the world. We see this a lot even in our households. And so today I want us to talk a little bit about what does it mean to be a high road leader? What does it mean to be a leader that isn't there just for title's sake, but is actually there for the people, is actually there not to create divisiveness, but there to bring unity, there to influence people, there to bring character and talent and potential and growth and dreams, which all of those things combined equals high performance. All of those things brought together gives a DNA and a culture of learning and wanting to be there, where it's not just about me, but it's about the people around us. So let's jump into that topic right now. In his book, High Road Leadership, John Maxwell talks about one of the objects that I've taken away from this book, or one of the key takeaways that I have from this book, is being able to embrace high road choices. So Maxwell emphasizes that the importance of making high road choices and what this importance is. These are decisions that prioritize your integrity. They're decisions that prioritize your character, and they're decisions that are long-term success over short-term goals. So I'm willing to take the high road to get to the long-term goal. I'm willing to take the high road to get to that end success instead of just short wins right here and now in the moment. One of the quotes from the book that I love to share is, when you choose the high road, you live out your values and build trust with those that you lead. So when you choose the high road, you live out your values and build trust with those you lead. Isn't that so important to have values and to have options to be able to outwork those values, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in your business, if you're a business owner, or maybe you're at home and you're leading in your home? What are your values? If you want to be able to live out your values, you have to be very clear on what those values are. What are the areas that you're not willing to compromise in? What are the areas that you're like, this is what integrity means to me? This is what character means to me. We recently had a conversation in our home where, with my business, with my husband's business, there was an offer to generate leads, and it was a great offer. There was potential of tens of thousands of dollars a month from this particular business offer. But the way in which the leads were being generated, the false promises that were being made to the people that were signing up for the thing that they were signing up for, was not in keeping with our values. And yes, we had to stop for a moment. I'll be real with you that, hey, tens of thousands of dollars would be a whole lot of difference in our home right now. But we don't want to gain wealth and gain money that way. That's not our character. That's not our values. And it was very clear throughout this conversation, no matter how hard my husband tried to twist and turn and push the guy to say, yes, but are you seeing what you're doing? Yes, but can you see how this impacts lives? And this gentleman was just adamant. Nope, I'm going to make my money, and this is how I'm going to do it. You're either in it or you out it. And so we decided that because it did not meet our values, we would not participate or partner with this company in order to generate leads for the business. Was that painful? Heck yeah. Thinking about the money that we could have had, but at the expense of somebody else, that's not high road leadership. High road leadership is being able to say no to something because it doesn't align with your values. It doesn't align with your integrity and character. Do you take the high road? How can you ensure that your future choices reflect your core values? Well, one of the ways of being able to do that is to make sure you know what your core values are. A second key takeaway that I had from this book, High Road Leadership, is how to develop a positive attitude. And honestly, this kind of comes naturally for me. We've already spoken about it in other Audacious Confidence podcasts. But if you want to be an audaciously confident leader, you need to have the right attitude. This is so important. A leader's attitude is like a thermostat. It will set the temperature for the entire team. I know you already know. There are some people on your team where you're just like, oh my gosh, if we bring up this idea, I know they're going to shoot it down. I know that they're going to think it's too much work. I know that they're just going to think that this is horrible, and they're going to find every which way to be able to shut this down. But how about the ones that make an impact on the overall thermostat of the team? How about the ones that set the temperature? One of the key important things of being a leader is, what is the attitude that you are bringing to your team? Is it a can-do attitude? I have that on my vision board right here, is that it is, I want to be and have a can-do attitude at all times. I don't want to hear the word I can't. I want to hear the words, how can I? How can we? Is this possible? If it's not possible and we've looked at the logistics, that's okay. The attitude allows us to put it to the side and find the thing that is possible. But if it is possible and I'm just not willing to step into it because of my fear, that's when I feel my attitude taking over. That's when I begin to feel the excuses creeping in, and the statements of, yeah, I don't know if I have time for this. Oh, I don't know if I have energy for this. You know what? So-and-so is better at this. Let me just pass it off to them. And so my attitude begins to change. But being an audaciously confident leader, oh my goodness, confidence is contagious. I love coming into a team and just building up their confidence and seeing the energy rise in the team of like, actually, we can do this. Yes, let's do this. Imagine what's possible. I am currently in an accountability group with 4 incredible people. I'm one of the 4, so 3 other incredible people. And I shared a video with them recently about how to exponentially achieve their goals faster than what they considered before. And it was such an amazing conversation to hear one of those team members say, I need to rethink things, because they had set 2, 3, 4, 5 year goals, which there's nothing wrong with that. But some of those things were being procrastinated on, right? And so being able to shift that confidence of being able to say, I can do this faster than what I think. I can do this now. I don't have to wait until 2, 3 years' time. But that confidence is contagious. And so just by sharing something that was brought, he was able to get more confident, and he was able to shift his goals, and our whole group became more confident. And we were all like, yeah, let's do this. Come on, we can do this. Who's doing this tomorrow? Who's doing that tomorrow? And so the energy just really lifted in the group. That is what a high road leadership attitude can bring to any environment. This ability to have a positive attitude. And I don't mean a toxic positivity where it's like we're not cognizant of the realities around us. I'm talking about, is it possible? Do we have the potential? Who do we need to find? Let's not throw this out straight off the bat, but let's investigate. Let's see. Let's take a risk. Oh my goodness, you have this potential. I can see it in you. Let's go and do it. That is what the right of high road leadership attitude can bring to the environment. We were recently talking as a family about some holiday or vacation ideas. And we have a 13-year-old in our midst. And if you have any 13-year-olds or have had teenagers or experienced teenagers, you may know that their instant reaction is, bruh, oh, bruh. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, that instant reaction happened, and it was so funny. We had an idea for a vacation planned out, but it required a lot of walking and a lot of sightseeing. And for sure, the first thing our teenager was like, bruh, I don't want to walk that far. It was hilarious that we jumped in and we were able to predict that this is how the person was going to respond. But the great thing is, we were able to convince them that this was actually worthwhile. And in the end, after promises of pizza, we did get a great positive response from our teenager. So I was very happy with how much positivity and that audacious confidence of, this is the plan, this is how we're going to do it, we're all going to love it. And eventually even our teenager got on board and thought, yeah, actually this sounds kind of fun. We did have a few tweaks along the way, but we got them on board, which is what I was so excited about. So how do you choose to have a positive attitude? This is such a big conversation that I have with so many of my clients, is the ability to reframe, the ability to look at, how can I look at this differently? Dr. Benjamin Hardy, in his book, 10x is easier than 2x, he talks about not considering, so how do we change the frame of the things in the past? So we look at the things in the past of them being negative towards us, but actually we need to reframe them to how have they benefited us. So even those difficult and challenging things, there are moments, there are lessons, there are important jewels that we can reframe and pull out of those experiences, because we have that power of reframe in our mind. We have the power of changing our attitude towards what might have happened. So yes, it doesn't take away the fact that difficult things may have happened, but I'm taking back control by choosing how I'm allowing that to impact my life. I'm taking control by choosing my attitude that I want to take towards it. So I can either be very bitter, I can be very angry, I can have it slow me down, I can suppress all that emotion and then just wait for one day for it to bubble up and explode. Or I can be like, nope, let me take what I need to take from this and get in what I need to get from this experience. That's what's really important, is that we have the ability to shift our mind, to shift our frame, and that impacts our attitude as well. If there are things that I don't want to do in my workplace and I'm like, oh, I hate going there, I can't stand my job, I hate all the people there. But if I can find one area that I might potentially enjoy, or I can find one gem that this is giving me for a different job, then it's worth it, right? It's worth it for me to go through the system so that I can get out and start to live out my own dream. And if I can shift that attitude, I can gain so much more knowledge. On our wedding day, it rained. It rained on our wedding day. It's not supposed to rain in May in Africa, but it rained on our wedding day. And my attitude at the time, I could have thought, oh, my wedding is ruined because we were having a garden wedding. We had a beautiful tent. But instead, we chose to have the attitude of this is not going to ruin our wedding day. Instead, we're going to believe that this is God's pouring out of his blessings upon our wedding. And 21 years later, I can say that God has definitely poured out his blessings on our marriage. Whether it rained on our wedding day or not, it was just our choice of our attitude. I could have let it ruin the day for me on my hair or my makeup or getting mud on my dresses, whatever the case might be, but I chose to see it in a different light. And we can do that on a daily basis. When you wake up in the morning, you get to choose, how am I going to frame my day today? You get to choose, how am I going to frame my confidence today? Am I going to believe the self-doubt or the insecurities or those lies that are creeping in? Or am I going to believe that I actually am gifted and talented in what I'm doing? Am I going to believe that I do know that I know how to figure out what to do? It might take me some time, but everything is figure outable, right? There's a good book about that. What is the attitude adjustment that you need to make today? What is that attitude adjustment? Maybe you need to look at yourself and think, my attitude hasn't been so great. And look at how you need to tweak that. And if you need help, ask one of your kids because they're great at pointing out your attitude, or ask somebody close by to you. They might be honest enough and confident enough to tell you how to change your attitude. Be willing to look at the areas that you need to grow in and that you need to change in, and begin to do that daily, one little step at a time. What can I be grateful for today? I have a great exercise, and feel free to sign up. The link is in the podcast below, but it's my 30-day gratitude, free gratitude emails. And what this does is every day there's a prompt on how to grow in your gratitude. So an idea of what you could be grateful about on that day. Because I find that having a posture of gratitude really impacts my attitude. So an attitude of gratitude, I know you've all heard that, but I find that that really, really helps. And if I'm stepping into the arena as a leader that is grateful, as a leader that has a positive attitude, I am going to greatly impact my team around me. I'm going to take the time. If I'm thinking about gratitude, I'm going to be looking for things within my team that I need to be grateful for. And then I can share that. And that rises the level of energy and excitement within the team. Please sign up for my daily gratitude emails. It's only 30 days. It's free. You don't need to do anything, but you'll get an email every day on learning how to develop your heart of gratitude. And it will greatly, really, really will change your outlook. It'll help you reframe. It'll give you an idea of how to build your positivity and your attitude in that day. Well, those are just two of my takeaways from John Maxwell's book, The High Road Leadership. And I'm thrilled to tell you that in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be running a free mastermind on this book. A mastermind is not a book club. We don't just read and then share some insights. It's a getting together of leaders, like-minded leaders who want to make a difference. And I am so excited about this mastermind because I want to gather leaders from all different spheres of life, people that are in corporate, people that are business owners, parents. Every single one of us has the opportunity to lead. But I want us to be in an environment where we are spurring each other on, where there's a challenge of, hey, what do you think about these values? Hey, should we be treating people this way? You know, if you look at politics today and the people that are supposedly our leaders, they spend more time pulling each other down and tearing each other down than they do serving the people that they've been voted in by. That is not leadership. And it doesn't matter what side of the line you sit on, that's not the point. It is, how can we begin to build leadership that serves each other, leadership that serves our communities, our families, our businesses, our companies, our churches, whatever it is that you're into. How do we build? There is a link below on signing up for the free mastermind. It's going to be on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, just for 1 hour. I want to honor your time, but I really, really want to encourage you to join this. All you need to do is buy the book, High Road Leadership, and we'll be going through that book together. Like I said, it's not a book club. We're not just reading it and saying, oh, that was a nice chapter, but we are really developing and spurring each other on to a new level of leadership one that has the ability to impact and change our worlds around us. Sign up below. I want to hear from you. Like, share, all that other stuff if you want to. Let me know how this has impacted you and encouraged you. And I will talk to you again next week. Thank you so much for your time today.